A Cape Coast High Court has ordered for fresh elections in the race for parliamentary representation in the Assin North constituency. The court, presided over by Justice Kwesi Boakye, cancelled the parliamentary elections in the Assin North constituency in the 2020 parliamentary elections. The case of the petitioner is that the MP at the time of filing to contest the 2020 elections had not renounced his Canadian citizenship and held dual nationality. He further avers that at the close of nominations on the 9th of October, the Assin North MP had not still renounced his Canadian nationality, and the Assin North MP, who still holds himself as the MP, is a complete violation of Article 94(2)(a), and the court should declare his election null and void. Handing his judgment on Wednesday, the judge said the MP, Joe Jechikwesin, violated constitutional provisions and other statutory provisions that guide Ghana's elections. The court explained that its jurisdiction could be invoked in the election petition when the EC conducts a parliamentary election and declares the results of the contest. He argued that the court's jurisdiction was properly invoked. The judge again ruled that nothing precludes a petitioner from invoking the High Court's original jurisdiction and therefore dismissed the challenge by Joe Jechikwesin. The judge said the facts of the matter were not in doubt. That is, on December 17, 2019, the Assin North MP applied to renounce his Canadian citizenship. The argument of the Assin North MP was that the delay in getting his certificate was purely administrative and arose out of a 2-month lockdown as a result of the pandemic. To this, the court said, based on the certificate the MP submitted in his affidavit in response to the petition, he only ceased to be a Canadian citizen on November 26, 2020, and not any period before or at the time of filing to contest the elections. The court indicated that the evidence on the face of the certificate destroys the case of the Assin North MP. On the issue of whether or not the election of the Assin North MP is null and void, the judge said the MP violated the constitutional provisions and other statutory provisions that guide Ghana's elections. The Supreme Court on Tuesday asked for the withdrawal of an application seeking its supervision jurisdiction in a case where the Cape Coast High Court was set to decide a petition challenging the eligibility of the Assin North MP. The MP's lawyer, Justice Poavra Teriwaja, had tried without success to get the Cape Coast High Court hearing the election petition involving his client to refer Article 94, Clause 2A of the 1992 Constitution to the Supreme Court for interpretation.
The Ghana Library Authority has launched an online application system for the issuance of International Standard Book Numbers, International Standard Serial Numbers, International Standard Music Numbers, and Cataloguing in Publication. The online platform, which was rolled out in November 2020 as part of the technology strategy of the authority, underwent rigorous testing and now officially launched for use by players of the publishing industry in Ghana. The Ghana Library Authority also announced the offering of Cataloguing in Publication service for the Guinean publishing industry. Mr. Hayford Sian, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Library Authority, who launched the platform, highlighted the relevance of the introduction of an online application system of the ISBN, ISSN, ISMN and the CIP to the media. Mr. Siang, who was impressed with the patronage of the CIP service, indicated that this will help books to be efficiently processed when procured by the libraries. The CIP is a bibliographic record prepared by the Ghana Library Authority for a book that has not yet been published. Participants and stakeholders in the book and publishing industry were taken through presentations on how the newly launched system operates. Speaking to the media after the short ceremony, Mr. Hayford Siao elaborated the relevance of this ISBN, which would help publishers and others in the supply chain to evaluate the success of books and magazines. This initiative will also increase productivity, save time and save money as well.
The Ghana Library Authority, as part of your technology initiative, said and one of our key stakeholders are writers, authors, and publishers. the online application system says, through international standard organization here from ISO, or more requirement here was a way meet those standard. And no, issue that certification. And yet the content, but how our organize the content, then yet the content to distinguish the difference. Now, here certification, here ISO certification for books and journals, newspapers, the certification. It's an OPEX, our number, now number, ISP, now so Ghana has all Accra, and as you see, the technology, use technology, COVID in Maria, restricted movement, young online. It's a bias, so yes, I might see it develop an online system. Yes, it's only by so by what's not baby, I order them now. One answer, what call online, what call library.gov.gh. Now, I call purchase ISBN. Now, which you with your mobile. Now, you send it or ISBN to your email.
Mr. Xiao explained the rationale for the occasion, saying an international standard book number is a product identifier used by publishers, booksellers, libraries, internet retailers, and other supply chain participants for ordering, listing, sales record, and stock control purposes.
Convenience is one of the key. Yes, I increase product. The Emra, I will jive with my whole body bank times. You see, oh, man, you want now computer now. I and ISB so no 1 day. We put back to if to friends and can a lot of net loss. It is a really cost to the publisher. Said the cost process and I will go through as when your ISB. That can't.
Ongoing works on the construction of a new terminal at the Kumasi International Airport will be completed in October 2022. Yao Apia Dankwa, the Director of Airports Planning and Projects at the Ghana Airports Company Limited, GACL, has disclosed. The project, being executed by Messrs. Contractor Construction UK Limited, is in line with the government's agenda to expand the aviation industry for accelerated socio-economic development. He said these when the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei Mensah, paid a working visit to the second biggest airport in Ghana a few days ago. Mr. Apia Dankwa averred that the construction of a new terminal building is a necessity since the old facility is a constraint to the operations of the airport in Kumasi. He cited the extension of the runway to accommodate Boeing 737-800 series aircraft and the construction of a new arrival hall as some of the works being done. Additional aprons as well as the provision of car parks and other ancillary facilities such as the building of 2 new fire stations, control towers and 2 new boarding bridges are under construction. Mr. Apia Dankwa indicated that on completion, the new terminal will have the capacity to handle 1 million passengers per year. According to the Ghana Airports Company Limited official, the idea is to relocate all the operational areas, including the control tower and terminal building, and also extend the apron for the benefit of larger aircraft. The construction of the Kumasi Airport Phase 2 commenced in June 2018 at a cost of €66.3 million. Mr. Apia Dankwa said originally expected to have been completed in 24 months, the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic slowed down ongoing works considerably. However, the contractors had given the assurance to step up work in order to meet the projected deadline. About 75% of the work components had so far been done, ranging from engineering, procurement, and some construction. The airport was originally constructed in 1943 with some extensive developments in the late 1950s by the government on the runway and taxiway lights, as well as the extension of the main runway to the southern part in the 1970s. In 2003, the Kumasi Airport was elevated to international status, primarily for regional operations with the addition of security, customs, and immigration staff. In 2014, the newly rehabilitated runway, installed with aeronautical ground lighting systems, was inaugurated. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who cut the sword for the commencement of the second phase of the expansion project in June 2018, was hopeful that when completed, the international airport would improve the country's operational capacity in the aviation industry and also increase passenger traffic, noting that Kumasi being a place for business, this was going to make it possible for moving in or out for would-be passengers. As part of the Let's Make Greater Accra work agenda, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Henry Quartey, together with the Municipal Chief Executive and Municipal Coordinating Director of Ayawaso Central on Tuesday, undertook an inspection tour of the municipality to assess some spatial and environmental concerns in the area. Henry Quartey, who doubles as the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso Central, was embarking on a decongestion exercise to rid the vicinity of unwanted and illegal structures in the municipality. The tour led to the removal and demolition of some unauthorized structures sited in the area, especially close to the Kokomlemle Government School, Alajo Storm Drain, and the Malamata Market. Hitting the streets on the Make Accra work agenda, the team made a stop at Panama at Kokomlemle, where some structures built along drains were either removed or demolished. The regional minister, however, expressed disappointment in the work of the municipal environmental and health officer. He was alarmed at the volume of filth piled up in the drains and on the shoulders of the road, thereby requesting the whereabouts of the municipal environmental health officer, who was nowhere to be found.
I want it cleared now. MCD, please write a summons for them. Make sure it's clean today, now. If they don't do it, take them to court. Honorable Assembly Member, this one cannot even be 2 weeks. If I see this one here again, me and you will have problem. If they are the ones doing it, then go and speak to them. It cannot be, please. No. It's my constituency. Why? Charity begins at home. So please, sort it out. This one is not MCE matter. You guys are the ones in charge. The Meho, they should do their job. The MCE should not be cleaning gutters for you. Madam MCD. So I'm waiting for some response. Yes. What should I be expecting?
Like my honorable chief executive has said, now it's not going to be a monthly thing again. We are going to make sure that it is at least twice a month.
No. It has to be every week. This cannot be here. And those of them who have got the shops here, they should be spoken to. If it continues that way, you summons them. That's all. If the contractor is not working well, please change him. And I want to say this for the media. The Meho has not reported to work for 4 weeks. Do you have any excuse duty for that?
No, in fact, he sought permission for me.
For 4 weeks?
No, not for 4 weeks. It's just 2 weeks, please.
But he's gone beyond it. So please, bring a report. He cannot absent himself for 2 weeks without any reason. I want to know why.
He's talking to me, please. He's not been well.
He's not well. He should let us know. But they've got a doctor's report?
So that's why he didn't.
Yes, so is he telling you it's not well? There's no medical form officially to indicate that it's not well. This is government business. I beg you, if he's not feeling well, you should go and bring someone else to work.
Amid tears and angry rants, some owners of some legally constructed structures tried to stop the officials from doing their job, but the police intervened to restore order.
Okay. Yeah. One step back. Land. No, mama, you know, Pepe Mahabo. She in school be a land. Obama school. On your mind, In front of the cameras, I'm giving you two options. Look for a land, I will pay and build for you. But this is a government land, you cannot build there.
A resident who had diverted wastewater from her residence onto the streets also attracted the displeasure of the regional minister.
Are you denying that you've been opening your wastewater onto the streets?
I don't have a wastewater.
So, madam, please, let me go back to this. Can you see this, please? Please.
It's not wastewater.
But what is it?
If we're washing here, the taps flow. If we don't have a gutter.
Can you see?
It's not. If you see,
I
it's
want
not
you to
waste.
have a good look at it, please. Okay,
Saying,
so let me help you.
Something that is dirty or something, but it's.
Let me help you with this. There's something called causing unlawful damage to property. Subsection 2 of Section 173 of Act 29, 1960. This is government property. Your actions are causing damage to it. I don't have the powers, but I'll let the police invite you, and I surely will make sure that you are sent to court. That is why I came to tell you. We are not doing family business here. I want Ghana to work, my constituency to work. But that's not the point, I beg you. You voted for me to do the right thing, and I'm doing the right thing. Very well.
Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara and the longtime rival Laurent Gbagbo hugged on Tuesday at their first meeting in over a decade, part of efforts to ease political tensions in the West African country. Ouattara expressed his excitement to see the former president at the presidential palace in Abidjan, the economic capital of the cocoa-producing country. They hugged before taking off the protective face mask they were wearing because of the COVID-19 pandemic and smiled for the cameras while holding hands. Ivory Coast has for more than a decade faced political tension, mistrust and violence. A 2010 to 2011 civil war killed over 3,000 people as the two men vied for power. The civil war began after Gbagbo, now 76, refused to concede electoral defeat to Ouattara in December 2010, and he was arrested following the war. He returned from exile in June after being acquitted by the International Criminal Court of War Crimes. Gbagbo said he had urged Ouattara to continue reconciliation efforts by freeing other prisoners from the civil war period. Although Ouattara's government paved the way for Gbagbo to return, he still faces a 20-year prison sentence handed down in November 2019 on charges of misappropriating funds from the regional central bank during the crisis period. The government has not said whether it plans to enforce the verdict or whether Gbagbo has been pardoned. Ouattara said he and Gbagbo would continue to meet and invited others to join them probably after August. A one-time international banker, Ouattara won a landslide victory in the last elections on October 31, but the credibility of the win was undermined by an opposition boycott. In the run-up to the vote, scores of people died in clashes with police after Ouattara unveiled his controversial bid for a third term. In this context, Ouattara has officially welcomed Gbagbo's return, hoping it will ease tensions. But the question is whether Gbagbo will stick to the script of statesman or prefer an active political role that may challenge Ouattara. Gbagbo rose in the 1970s as a left-wing campaigner who helped end Ivory Coast's one-party system following independence from France in 1960.
Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has called on the African Export-Import Bank, Afri-Exim to re-examine the strategy it is currently using to implement a centralized payment and settlement system for intra-African trade and commerce payments. The Pan-African Payments and Settlement Systems, PAPS, developed by the Afri-Exim Bank, is the first centralized payment market infrastructure for processing, clearing and settling of intra-African trade and commerce payments. It is expected to facilitate payments as well as formalize some of the unrecorded trade due to the prevalence of informal cross-border trade in Africa. Rather than requiring individual financial institutions across the continent to connect to a central database, Ghana's Vice President believes a simpler, quicker, and more effective method will be to plug in the existing payment structures being operated by African central banks into a central system at Afri-Exim Bank. Dr. Bawumia made the call on Tuesday in Accra at the opening ceremony for the 5th Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference, GITFIC 2021.
It is important, however, and I must mention this for the attention of Afro-Exim Bank and the implementers of the Pan-African payment system. Because if you look at the strategy and the mode that we are observing in the implementation of the Pan-African payment and settlement system, we are seeing that individual financial institutions are being asked to connect to the system. Now, I think it's a very inefficient way to proceed. I think that if you look at the financial systems within each of the countries, you have switches, and financial systems, financial institutions are all connected to these switches, whether it's in Ghana or Nigeria or the BCRO. And it's the easiest and the quickest way for us to go as a continent is to have the national switches connect directly to the Pan-African payment and settlement system. So when the national switch in Ghana, for example, under GIBS, connects to the Pan-African system, then it brings along immediately all the 23 or so banks that are functional. And similar in Nigeria, similar with the BCIO. But if we want to wait for each individual financial institutions to connect directly, you will see that there will be a long delay in the process, and we don't have time. So my humble advice is that let's move towards the national payment systems connecting directly to the Pan-African payment and settlement system, and that will bring all the financial institutions under their switches for us to move forward.
Alluding to the theme for the conference, facilitating trade in AfCFTA, the role of the financial services sector, Vice President Bawumia noted that a simple and efficient payment system is an integral part of ensuring continental trade.
The final settlement of payments takes place through transfers of balances among deposit accounts and financial institutions, making sure that the underlying payment system therefore runs smoothly is the least we should expect of the financial system if we are to realize the vision of the continental free trade area.
With intra-African trade expected to improve from the single-digit levels to over 60%, the Pan-African payments and settlement system will allow businesses on the continent to clear and settle transactions in their local currencies without depending on third-party currencies. It would also provide an alternative to the current high cost and long correspondent banking relationships by facilitating trade and other economic activity across African countries through a simple, low-cost and risk-controlled payment, clearing and settlement system. The conference is being attended both physically and virtually by senior officials of African central banks, the African Union, West African Monetary Institute, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and other stakeholders in the African Continental Free Trade Area.